The girl sat quietly, her long pink hair cascading over her shoulders, her violet eyes clouded with sorrow. The faint glow of the screen in front of her illuminated her face, highlighting the sadness etched in her expression. She seemed lost in thought, burdened by emotions she couldn't quite name, as if a storm was stirring within her heart. Her gaze softened as she reflected on the past. Perhaps Bei Mingyi was hurt so much, she thought, even knowing that Mu Ziqin had a different purpose. Despite the truth, warmth still flickered in her chest when she thought about him. A bittersweet smile touched her lips. "Yinka, you're so pitiful," she whispered inwardly, pitying herself for caring too deeply, for feeling warmth where there should only be coldness. The silence of the room was broken by the soft sound of footsteps. A figure stepped into view, neatly dressed, the hem of dark trousers brushing against the tops of plain slippers. The quiet tremor in his steps betrayed hesitation, or perhaps fatigue, as he crossed the threshold into the dimly lit room. The young man appeared in full view now, his expression a mix of weariness and restraint. His violet-gray eyes held a glimmer of something unspoken, regret, perhaps, or sorrow too deep to name. Dressed casually in a mustard-yellow shirt, he leaned slightly against the doorway, his presence filling the room with an uneasy stillness. He looked at her, as though he wanted to say something, but the words remained unspoken. The two of them faced each other in the quiet room. The girl, her voice soft but steady, asked gently, "Can you return to school yourself? I'll see you tomorrow." Her words lingered in the air, gentle yet distant. The boy lay back on the bed, one hand resting over his forehead, as if trying to block out the world. Neither spoke further. The silence between them said more than words ever could, a fragile connection heavy with everything left unsaid. She glanced at the boy lying weakly beside her, worry clouding her violet eyes. "This guy," she thought with a sigh. "It's clearly gastritis, but he still refuses to go to the hospital. He won't even let me contact his relatives." Her frustration mingled with concern. He was so stubborn, and she couldn't understand why he insisted on enduring the pain alone. Her eyes softened as she looked at him, sleeping restlessly. "If I leave him alone like this, and he faints, it could be dangerous," she murmured to herself. She hesitated for a moment, biting her lip. Then, with a gentle sigh, she made up her mind. Maybe I should stay and look after him." As she carefully adjusted his blanket, the quiet tenderness in her movements betrayed how much she truly cared. The next morning, she stood by the doorway, her phone pressed to her ear as she spoke to someone on the other end. "Oh, so you're taking care of him?" the voice teased. The girl blinked, startled by the sudden shift in tone. "Ah, Kaka, I heard young Master Mu has never loved anyone before. He doesn't even have a female friend." The words hung in the air, and for a moment her heart skipped a beat. Flustered, she quickly waved her free hand, her voice rising slightly as she spoke into the phone. All right, there's nothing like that between us," she insisted, trying to sound calm but failing miserably. "I and him don't have that kind of relationship. Don't think too much." Yet even as she spoke, a faint blush crept across her cheeks, betraying her uncertainty. When the call ended, silence returned. She stood by the window, the soft night air brushing against her face. Closing her eyes, she exhaled softly. "Hi." The sigh escaped her lips, carrying with it a tangle of emotions, worry, confusion, and something deeper she didn't want to name. The moonlight shimmered faintly against her pink hair, and in that quiet moment, she couldn't tell if she was tired or simply afraid of what she was beginning to feel. The girl stood before the mirror, her reflection staring back at her with the same uncertainty that clouded her heart. Her delicate fingers brushed the side of her neck as she studied the faint exhaustion on her face. Behind the calm surface of her eyes lay confusion and worry, emotions she could no longer hide from herself. It was as if she was trying to find answers in her own reflection, answers that refused to come. Her thoughts drifted again, tangled in the chaos of recent days. About Beimin Ye's business, she murmured to herself. I don't know how to explain this to Xiang Shang. A sigh escaped her lips. The situation had become far too complicated. Lies, misunderstandings, and feelings she wished she didn't have. How could she make others understand something she didn't fully grasp herself? That night, under the dim light of the room, the stillness was broken by a quiet, unexpected touch. A hand, warm and trembling, reached out and clasped hers. Her breath caught in her throat. The moment felt unreal, heavy with unspoken emotions. For a heartbeat, time seemed to stop. Their fingers intertwined, and though no words were exchanged, the air between them was filled with something deeper than either of them could admit. Later, as she sat alone, her expression darkened with frustration and sorrow. That evil guy, she whispered bitterly, her voice shaking. He obviously has feelings for you, Fei Fan, so why does he still want to use me to lash out at her? Why? Her hands clenched at her sides, trembling with a mixture of anger and hurt. She couldn't understand his cruelty, or perhaps what hurt most was realizing that despite everything, her heart still ached for him. Her hand trembled as she clenched it tightly against the table. The veins on her wrist stood out, betraying the storm of emotions she was trying to suppress. Hold tight, she told herself silently, forcing her shaking fingers to stay firm. The air around her seemed heavy, thick with tension, as if the simple act of holding on could keep everything from falling apart. Under the cascade of warm water, she lifted her face toward the shower head, letting the drops strike her skin like a desperate cleansing. The steam surrounded her, but her heart still felt unbearably cold. If I shower a few more times, she wondered bitterly, will I finally become clean or not? Her thoughts echoed through the mist, tangled with guilt and sorrow that water alone could never wash away. The steam thickened, veiling her form in a soft, hazy white. Droplets slid down her neck and over her trembling shoulders as she stood motionless beneath the flow. It wasn't just her body she wanted to cleanse. It was her soul, her memories, her pain. Yet no matter how much water poured down, she knew some stains ran too deep to ever disappear. With a soft but decisive motion, a hand pushes open the door. The sound of the door sliding echoes slightly in the quiet room. Push. The moment feels tense, as if what's beyond that door will change everything. The sunlight glints faintly on the glass, catching the edge of a sleeve in warm orange fabric, belonging to someone who's about to step inside. The door opens, and a girl with long, pinkish hair and wide violet eyes turns her head in surprise. Her lips part slightly, her expression frozen between confusion and shock. She clearly hadn't expected anyone to appear, especially not him. The bright light from behind her highlights her startled face, revealing the vulnerability in her eyes as she looks toward the intruder. The scene shifts to the one who entered, a young man wearing a loose, golden yellow shirt. He stands confidently, framed by streaks of blue light that emphasize his calm yet commanding presence. Though his face remains serious, there's a quiet tension in the air, as if unspoken words hang between them. The room is still, and the moment feels heavy. Something important is about to unfold. A sudden shout breaks the tension in the air. "What are you doing? Go!" The words burst out in panic and confusion, echoing through the narrow space. The moment feels charged. Something unexpected is about to happen, and emotions are running high. The young man, dressed in a bright yellow shirt, stands frozen by the door. His eyes are shadowed, his face pale and tense. He looks conflicted, as if fighting an internal battle. In front of him, a girl with long pink hair reaches out instinctively, her hand hovering near his chest. Her wide eyes are filled with shock as she takes a step back. The air between them is thick with unspoken words and raw emotion. Something is clearly wrong, but neither seems able to explain it yet. Without warning, she grabs him by the shoulders, her voice trembling between anger and worry. "Hey, what's wrong with you?" she cries out, her eyes glistening with tears and fear. The intensity of her emotions radiates through her trembling grip. She's desperate for an answer, desperate to understand why he's acting this way. The scene is charged with emotion, a mix of frustration, concern, and heartbreak. Under the gentle glow of the moonlight, the towering building of Central Hospital stands tall against the night sky. Its countless windows are lit, forming a warm, golden pattern amidst the dark blue of the evening. The Red Cross sign glows faintly, marking this place as a sanctuary of healing. The city sleeps, but within these walls, life continues. Quiet footsteps, whispered conversations, and the soft hum of medical machines echo through the halls. Inside one of the hospital rooms, a young man lies unconscious on a hospital bed, his face pale but peaceful. A doctor stands beside him, clipboard in hand, explaining the diagnosis with calm professionalism. "The young master has been neglecting his meals," he says gently. "It's led to enteritis and stomach trouble. With some fluid therapy and rest, he'll recover in just 2 days." Standing nearby are 3 concerned figures, an elderly couple and a woman with delicate features, all watching anxiously as the doctor speaks. Relief flickers across their faces, though worry still lingers in their eyes. The room fills with a soft, comforting silence after the doctor's words. The girl with long pink hair stands at the bedside, her small hand resting gently on the young man's blanket. She listens as the doctor reassures the others. "It's nothing too serious, madam, elder master. You both needn't worry so much." The tension in the air slowly eases, replaced by quiet gratitude. The rhythmic beeping of the monitor becomes the only sound, marking the steady heartbeat of the young man who will soon awaken. In a warmly lit room, a distinguished man stands beside a graceful woman. The man, dressed impeccably in a dark suit and olive green tie, exudes an air of quiet authority and wisdom. His light grey hair and the gentle lines around his eyes speak of experience and calm confidence. Beside him, the woman, elegant and soft-spoken, has pastel lavender hair cascading over her shoulders, her delicate fingers touching a pendant that rests against her chest. Her eyes, tender yet filled with a trace of emotion, glance up toward the man with a mix of affection and hesitation. His hand rests gently on her shoulder, a subtle gesture of reassurance and care. Together, they radiate the calm dignity of parents who have seen much, standing as a united front in a moment that feels both intimate and significant. The focus shifts downward, revealing the polished black shoes of someone entering the room. Each step is deliberate, echoing softly against the floor, a sound that breaks the still air. The person's dark trousers move with quiet determination, suggesting both confidence and nervous anticipation. The framing of the scene makes it clear that this arrival carries weight, as if the next few words spoken will change everything. The moment hangs suspended just before the new presence fully enters the space.
From off-screen, a familiar and heartfelt voice calls out, "Dad, Mom!" The words cut through the stillness, full of emotion, perhaps relief, longing, or surprise. It's a simple greeting, yet it carries the weight of reunion, of time past and feelings unsaid. The scene shifts in tone, from quiet anticipation to one charged with family warmth and deep emotion. Something important is about to unfold, and the air feels alive with connection.
As the door quietly opens, a tall man steps into the room. His sharp, composed features reveal a sense of calm authority. Dressed neatly in a dark coat layered over a formal shirt and vest, he gives off an air of quiet confidence. His expression, though steady, carries a hint of concern as his gaze falls ahead. With a steady voice, he asks the question that has clearly been weighing on his mind. How is he? The scene shifts to show more of the man's poised figure as he stands in the doorway. His posture is straight, his hand lightly gripping the door handle, as if he's both hesitant and determined to step further inside. The tailored lines of his dark suit add to his composed demeanor, revealing a man used to control and restraint. The light from the hallway outlines his frame, emphasizing the seriousness of the moment. Before he can take another step, a voice greets him warmly from within the room. "Sichuan, here you are. Ziquin has gone to sleep." The words seem to soften the atmosphere, breaking the tension that had settled over the doorway. His polished shoes rest firmly on the wooden floor as he pauses, the concern in his eyes beginning to ease just slightly at the reassurance. Under the soft morning light, a tall man with cool, composed eyes looks down at the girl standing before him. His voice is calm, but carries a sharp edge as he asks, "You were the one who was with Zi Qin in the pub last night?" The air between them feels tense, his question hanging heavy with suspicion. The girl's eyes widen slightly, her lips parting as if to respond, but no words come out. It's clear this encounter is more than a casual conversation. It's an interrogation wrapped in unspoken emotions. The scene tightens between the two. The man stands firm and confident in his dark suit, his presence almost overwhelming. The girl with soft pink hair cascading down her shoulders tilts her head up to meet his gaze. Her delicate features show a mix of defiance and vulnerability, her hands tightening slightly at her sides. The silence stretches between them as their eyes lock, neither willing to look away. A close-up of her neckline reveals the nervous swallow she takes, proof that his question has struck a chord deep within her. Elsewhere, an older couple watches the situation unfold from a distance, or perhaps they're recalling the events in quiet reflection. The man with sharp golden glasses and a calm intellectual aura speaks with measured confidence. Beside him, a graceful woman with elegant lilac hair listens attentively, her expression serene but thoughtful. Their eyes share a knowing look as if they understand far more than they reveal. The soft pink backdrop gives the scene a warm yet mysterious tone, suggesting that whatever happens next, these two hold an important piece of the story. The scene opens with a gentle, warm light filling the room, wrapping everything in a comforting glow. A mature woman with soft gray hair tied neatly at the back and calm blue eyes looks ahead with a knowing smile. Her expression carries a quiet amusement, as if she already understands far more than she lets on. The background swirls in soft yellows and oranges, mashing her serene yet teasing demeanor. The word allude appears beside her, echoing her subtle, almost mischievous tone. She's clearly hinting at something without saying it outright. The next panel shifts to a younger girl with long pink hair and violet eyes, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. She nervously raises her hand to her face, trying to hide her flustered expression. Her words spill out hurriedly as she tries to explain herself. We're not that kind of relationship. I just happened to meet him. If guys were here, so I asked for permission to get back to school first. The background turns pink, symbolizing her shyness and inner turmoil, while the phrase cover it appears beside her, perfectly capturing her instinct to hide her true feelings and escape the awkward situation.